friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And today I wanted to shoot a video on how easy it is to make your own mayonnaise. Yes, I know I have an older video out, but a lot of people have a hard time finding it because it's a combo video and also on how to make ranch dressing. And if you'd like to learn how to do that too, I'll go ahead and link to it down in the description box below. Don't forget to hit show more, by the way. A lot of people forget about that. Let me explain real quick what I'm going to use the mayonnaise for. I got a can of salmon, home canned salmon that I just did because Patrick came back from a fishing trip from California with his dad and we had a lot of salmon, so I got it canned up. And I'm going to be talking in a video soon about why I canned in quart jars. Most people would do pint or half pint jars, but I'll explain that in a future video, so be watching for that. And then I've got some leftover bread that I had made yesterday. Usually loaf bread will last us a couple of days, and I find the best way to store it instead of bothering to wrap it up is just store it, cut side down against your cutting board and cover it up, and that helps keep it from drying out. And so, but we do try to eat it up within a couple of days so it doesn't dry out too much or go bad, because it doesn't have preservatives added to it that you'd find in the breads you buy from the store. It's homemade, so it's going to go bad or dry out quicker. So yeah, make smaller batches and then just use them up quicker. So anyway, tonight I wanted to make some salmon spread to make a sandwich with, and that's what we're going to use the leftover bread for. So if you're interested in how to make the spread, I do have a recipe out there. I will also go ahead and link to that down below and up here in the iCard. So let's get started on this mayonnaise so you can see just how quick and easy it is to make. Okay, so for the quickest way to make mayonnaise, it's really a good idea to get yourself a stick blender. If you try to do this in a regular blender, it's going to take a long time. I used to do this in a regular blender, and it just takes much longer to do it that way. A stick blender makes all the difference in the world. And if you already are into soap making and you use a stick blender for that, well, you should probably already have one on hand. And I will go ahead and link down below to the stick blender I have. This, again, those are my Amazon affiliate links. So just so you know, we do get a little bit of a percentage back on any purchase you make through any of our links, even if you don't buy the item that we actually listed. So just so you know, that's how it works. But if you find the product for less elsewhere, like in your local store or whatever, don't feel the need to have to purchase through our links. It's just a way that we can get that out there and where other people can help us, or to make it easy for people who like to shop at home. All right, so anyway, what you're going to need is a cup of oil, and the oil you choose to use is up to you, but I don't recommend using olive oil. As healthy as it is, I find, and I know I'm not the only one, especially if you use an extra virgin olive oil, I don't like the taste it makes for the mayonnaise. It's just, I love olive oil, but not in mayonnaise. I don't care for the flavor of it. And the mayonnaise you buy at the store that has supposedly made from olive oil, I think it has very little olive oil in it. It is mostly canola oil. Read those ingredients. So anyway, you're going to actually need a whole cup. Now, even though I like to use the other avocado oil a lot that you'll see me use in the green bottles, when it comes to making the mayonnaise, I prefer to use this one here. I'll go ahead and link to this below. I'm not even sure where else you can find this particular brand or something like this, but I do get mine from Amazon. So I'll link to this below. I buy it in a gallon because it saves money that way. The difference between this one and the other one is it has just a very mild, a slight and very mild flavor to it that to me really adds to the mayonnaise without making it taste nasty like the olive oil does. But you could also, I'm sure there's other oils out there you can try if you just make sure you use a good healthy oil. So anyway, keep this set aside separately. I do this slightly differently now than I did in the last video I did, so you may want to watch how I do this. It's just one minor difference that I make. Now, some people that make mayonnaise will use mostly yolks with maybe one white. I use, instead of doing it that way, just to keep it simple, I use 2 whole eggs. And that way I don't have to worry about what to do with the extra egg whites that I have. And even though, yes, I know there's a lot of great recipes you can use with your egg whites, I've done that before, I would prefer just to not have to mess around with that. So I just break them directly in this. Any kind of a taller type pitcher thing you've got. A lot of times when you get a stick blender, it will come with something like that. The one that came with mine is plastic, so I like to stick with the Pyrex. I love Pyrex measuring cups. I use them for a lot of things. The only other ingredients you really need are a little bit of vinegar. I've got raisin vinegar here. You can use your homemade apple cider vinegar or your Bragg's apple cider vinegar, or whatever fruit-based vinegar is what I'd recommend. Not so much an herb-based or anything. It's going to have a strong flavor to it. You're going to need some dry mustard powder and then a little bit of salt. So for the salt, I've got some Himalayan salt here. Need about a half teaspoon of that. Same thing with the mustard, the dry mustard powder. I get the dry organic mustard powder from Amazon. I can't remember it's Star West or Frontier because I buy both and they come packaged similarly. But either way, I'll link to the one I use down below. And then about a tablespoon of your vinegar. Okay, so I just pour it in there. I don't really measure it out. And now, before I add the oil, usually what you can do is just put it all in there at once and blend it. But I find I get better results doing this first. So I like to blend it just a little bit. Okay, and then I like to pour, just kind of pour the oil sort of slow, but not drop by drop like you have to do in a blender. And start adding that. And you want to make sure you have a whole cup. You don't want any less than a full cup of oil, or you're not going to get a very good mayonnaise. So then start blending your eggs, or your mixture, your egg mixture there, and then just start pouring the oil in. So you can see how I'm doing this. I just did something and I wanted to try it. I put in about another 1/8 cup of oil just to see if it would thicken up even more, and it did. Typically, I don't care if my mayonnaise is that thick because of how I'm using it. We don't very often use it as a spread. We're usually using it in a blend, like whether it be an egg salad or a salmon salad sandwich spread or things like that, or some kind of dip or something. And so the mayonnaise or dressing, salad dressing. So I don't care if it's not super duper thick, but just like my little experiment I tried, you can, to get it thicker, just drizzle in a little bit more oil and keep doing that until you get the thickness that you want. And there we go. So I want you to see how that looks. It's still going to drip from your spoon or your spatula. Again, I think you can experiment and try adding even more oil than I did and see if it gets thicker yet if you need it that way. All right, now before I finish up this video, I want to talk about some other options you may want to add to your mayonnaise depending on how you're using it. And oftentimes I'll do this just because I'm going to be using it in ranch dressing or something like I'm doing today. But since I made way more than I need, I'm going to put the rest in the refrigerator and hopefully use that up soon, because you don't want it to sit in there for too long. I find that it does pretty good for up to about a month, but you want to be careful. It's not like the store-bought stuff that is full of preservatives. It's not going to last that long, even in your refrigerator. So maybe I would say probably best within a week or so, but I have seen mine last easily up to a month. And I think the vinegar does help. Putting that vinegar in there helps extend the life of it in the refrigerator. Granulated garlic, some pepper, and some onion. Other things could be a little bit of paprika, and whatever you think sounds good. So if that's how you like if you like those kind of flavors in your mayonnaise when you're going to use it on a sandwich or a hamburger or whatever, those are some really good options. Normally I do go ahead and do that. I just wanted to show you the very simple method. 5 base ingredients: your eggs, your oil, your vinegar, your salt, and your mustard. And then everything else is just some extra added flavor, whatever you think sounds good. You can even consider, if you're new to this, taking a little bit out at a time and trying just a little pinch of some different things in there and play with the spices and see what you think tastes the best. So again, very, very easy recipe, very easy to do on your own. And yes, you can do this by hand too. Just get a whisk and do it by hand if you want. Takes a lot longer, but the stick blender just brings it down really short. And that way, if something comes up, you're gonna have a barbecue, oh, we need mayonnaise. It only takes a few minutes to whip some up and you've got it. So there you go. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.